I flew 17 hours across the world to attend Alex Hormozi's scaling workshop. These are the 6 big things I took away from him. My name's Robbie Chakere. I'm the co-founder of a marketing agency called OneClick and a media agency called Legacy Media. And we help businesses learn, grow, and scale their marketing and their AI implementation. Upon arrival, we were greeted by the acquisition.com team, who were super nice, super accommodating. We got to meet some really cool people at the event, and the event was held at the acquisition.com headquarters in Las Vegas. All right, let's get into it. Key takeaway number 1, the business scorecard. So the first thing they make you do is you sit down and you value your business. They walk you through all the steps. They talk about revenue, current growth trajectories, and all the risks of the business. And basically, you come to the realization that your business ain't worth shit. That's with you in it. Gives you a very good feel how an institutional investor would look at your business, if your plan is to exit the business, that is. The biggest factor that impacted most people's businesses was key man risk. Key man risk is basically the business is dependent on you being involved. I, for one, can honestly put my hand up and say, I'm guilty of this. You're not taught how to build a business when you first get into business. You're taught how to sell yourself and your skills, and it's what most of us do, right? And then we get attached to the business and we start to think people are coming here because of me, and they are. And then you need to learn how you can take yourself out of the business because it has a detrimental effect on the overall valuation of the business. So it's a really, really key part. 1, understanding the value, seeing how people look at it, and then understanding the changes you can make, which we'll go through. The second big takeaway they went through with the business was the theory of constraints. The theory of constraints was all about unlocking the one thing that would give you the biggest return on your investment, right? It's like, okay, cool. If you put all this time, energy, and effort towards this one thing, how can we make sure that I'm getting the biggest return for what I put in? If you work on the wrong problem in the right way, it doesn't help you get to where you want to go. This was all about finding the one thing and focusing all of your time, all of your attention, all of your effort to create the biggest unlock in your business, and then doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. Key takeaway number 3, value adders. These are the key actions you can take to add more value to your business. How do you make your company worth more money in the end before you exit? There were 6 in total that they mentioned throughout the training, right? 6 value adders. First one was revenue. So this is the overall amount of money the business turns over, or the overall amount of money coming into the business. They said this is the strongest predictor of the company value. And yes, of course, it does come down to how much you keep. But guess what? The more you turn over, the more you can try and keep. Number 2. Revenue growth. This is the amount of sales increased over a period of time. This is a key indicator for market interest and a strong lever to adding compounding value to a business. If they see that you've grown 40% year on year, this is very enticing to institutional investors. Number 3, EBITDA. So this stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. This is the money left after all expenses have been covered. So you're basically your net profit pre-tax. This is one of the biggest markers of a business's value, and the business is usually sold for a multiple of this figure. Number 4 is your EBITDA margin, or also known as your net margin, right? So it's the percentage of money you get to keep after all expenses have been paid. Number 5 was revenue retention. So the amount of people still buying your stuff a year later. So if you have 10 customers today and 12 months later, you've only got 5, you have a revenue retention of 50%. The benchmark they had for this to be a good score was 80% plus, which seems high, but I get it. Makes sense, right? If you hold on to people long-term, that's a valuable business. If people buy what you do in 12 months' time, that's a valuable business. And last but not least, LTV to CAC ratio, which I'll do a breakdown of a little later in this video. Then they spoke about value detractors. So these are the things that make your business less valuable, or as they refer to it, more risky. They said these words: we create great businesses by increasing value and decreasing risk. This is what they focus on. First of all, key man risk. The company needs a particular individual to grow. The only way you are clear of this is if you can disappear and come back and the business actually grows while you're away without you doing anything. Number 2 is key customer risk. So if you're dependent on a few high-paying clients to survive. Someone else had a rule about this. I think it may have been Patrick Bet-David, and he said not letting someone have more than 20 or 25% of your overall revenue of the business. So if a client has more than 25% of the revenue of the business, you need to make a change because that client controls too much of the business. He actually shares an example where someone was in that position and the client on the other end became more and more demanding over time and more demanding, and the person couldn't keep up, and then they sacked them and their whole business shrunk by 50% overnight because this person had leverage. Number 3 was single channel risk, which is whether you have most of your clients coming from a single source or a single channel, right? This is a risk because if that source stops for whatever reason, platform changes or Instagram dies or you've got a partnership and someone cuts you off, your business stops. Number 4 was market risk. All the people who might buy your stuff. Is the market shrinking? Is it sketchy? Is it small? Is it constrained? Will you be disrupted? Are AI agents going to take your job? Last but not least, data risk. Do you know your numbers as well as you should, right? And I would say that I know my numbers pretty well. And I would also say that this workshop made me realize that I don't know my numbers as well as I should. And it made me brush up on a lot of things, which is great. That's why we go to these things, right? Key takeaway number 5, LTV to CAC ratio. So CAC stands for customer acquisition cost. So you work this out by calculating how much you spend on marketing and customer generating activities, and you divide it by the amount of customers or clients you get from it. So an example of that would be you spend $10,000 on marketing and you get 1,000 new customers from the $10,000 you spend. Your CAC is $10 because for every $10 you spend, you get a new customer. Now, LTV stands for lifetime value. This is the total amount of money you get to keep from a client. You can work this out by breaking down the average dollar value of what a customer spends with you over a 12-month period and then multiply that by what your gross profit percentage is. So for example, if a customer spends $10,000 with you over 12 months and your gross profit percentage is 50%, then your LTV for that situation is $5,000, right? 2 ways to impact this ratio. 1, you make more money off the client or make it cheaper to acquire them. So you either bring the LTV up or you lower the CAC. All right. And then key takeaway number 6 was about recruiting talent. They had a dedicated heavy recruitment walk us through this part of the process and what they actually do when they're hiring for acquisition.com. It's not what, it's who. That's their whole motto. They walk you through the process of how to write their recruitment ads using their 3 C's method, working out what the role is, how you're going to get them, and then who the person is. Asking key questions like, do their expectations match my job requirements? They were really big on, it's got to be a hell yes, otherwise we don't proceed. Now, Day 2 was called Roundtables, and this is where we got to sit down with the team and discuss 6 core topics: marketing, sales, media, HR, strategy, and recruitment. And you got to sit down with the head of each department, and honestly, the team was phenomenal. A players all around, really cool, nice people. You could tell they enjoyed what they did. Everyone was well presented. It was a really good event. So, all in all, do I think you should attend this event? Yes. Do I think you should fly 17 hours to the other side of the world to attend this event? Yes. I'm a big fan of Alex and Layla. I think what they're doing in the business space is phenomenal. And for the total cost of the event, $5,000 US, it's a no-brainer. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. My aim is to share with you everything I can about all things business, marketing, and AI. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next video.